It
No,
was hot.
nobody, I'm
Mm-mm.
strange.
Mhm.
You're cold?
I'm strange. I'll just say that.
I'm strange.
Look like we're all a little.
I can walk around with a shirt in the winter time.
Oh, I found it.
I gotta put a
Okay, I see it now.
sweatshirt.
When you open up the agenda, open up the 5/18/26A. Under,
There you go.
Rod, can you hear me? Rod, are you able to hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Shoot.
Must be Monday.
Well, he's muting himself and then unmuting himself. So I know that he's doing something, but I
Okay.
can't hear him.
Right.
we're just gonna wait a minute before we start the meeting for Rod. I put this up here.
Everyone got the phone signs.
Yep.
Then our little,
Nothing more embarrassing. Your phone goes off, especially in church
Phones and farts.
or wedding.
Phones and farts are the two embarrassing words.
What's that?
Phones and farts.
Oh, yeah. Wedding's always.
Try and talk again, Rod.
I'm there.
There you go. Okay,
Woohoo!
thank you.
Thank you.
all right, since we have everybody here, let's call our meeting to order. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
States of America.
public for which it stands, one nation, under
Nation
God,
under God, indivisible.
justice for all. All right. I just want to make sure everybody's got the correct agenda. It's the one that's labeled 5/18/26A.
Oh, think so.
Um,
Okay.
All right. I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Scott. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Rod. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Bar none. All in
Oh.
favor, signify by saying,
Roll call.
oh, roll call. I am so terribly sorry. I jumped ahead.
We finished this approval?
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Perfect. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Let's do roll call. Rod,
here.
Scott,
Here.
Josh, Lauren,
here.
and Stephanie is here. All right. We will open the floor right now for public comment.
That guy out in the hall, was he gonna talk?
They might be here for the Hannaford stuff.
It doesn't appear to be anybody here for open comment, so we'll move on to the minutes. If you guys be so kind to review the minutes, and I'll be looking for a motion.
Mhm. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Motion to approve the minutes as presented by Scott. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Lauren. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Barring none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Fantastic. All right, let's move on to, where are we at? The bills. Let's move on to the bills. Sam, is there anything on the bills that are different?
Nope. Be good to go there.
No new ones?
Nope. Yours should be good.
Any questions on the bills or comments?
How do you get it bigger?
I couldn't get mine to go down, but.
Oh, you have to open up the old one now to get,
Oh, that's what happened.
to get all the rest of the information, yes.
Whatever.
Okay.
That's okay.
Couldn't figure
Thank
it
you.
Never mind.
I apologize.
It's your techie. Oh, that's right. Okay.
So you need to go to this one. Here's where the rest of the stuff is.
Okay.
The agenda's on the first one and the rest of it is
Thank
on the
you.
second one. You're welcome.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
Motion by Scott to approve the bills as presented. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Josh. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Barring none. We'll do a roll call vote. Rod,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Josh,
Aye.
Lauren,
Aye.
Stephanie votes aye. Motion carried. Okay, let's review the monthly reports. Once you guys feel you have had enough time, let me know to review them. I can move on. Okay. Everybody go with monthly reports? Next on the agenda is Palm Clerk of Court with the fund agreement. She will be bop in here in a minute when she has time, so we'll just go ahead and come back when she's here. So next on the agenda is the Hannaford bypass and Wayne. Come on down, Wayne.
We'll go get those guys. or-
Yeah. Yeah, go grab it.
Do you have anything before the Hannaford bypass to discuss or just straight to Hannaford bypass? Everything else is,
As far as, well, the bridge, there are working on the bridge,
good.
starting to do dirt work out there last couple of days. I think the final billing is in for the chip seal, 2118. Other than that,
Okay,
I don't know much about the Hannaford bypass, I guess.
okay, well, with the
We
Hannaford,
were discussing rumble strips and
Speed bumps
speed
and
bumps.
stop
and
signs.
Flashing lights,
yep.
for speed.
So just to summarize the goal in there is to find a happy medium for the farmers and the town folk. We need to find a happy medium for that. What can we do to slow down the drivers? Because the drivers are going through fast. And what can we do to help ease that? Is pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
We had some ideas. Some of the ideas were some speed bumps, stop signs. What other was it?
Flashing.
Flashing
speed limit
lights.
Signs.
Yep. And I think Rod has been doing most of the legwork and visiting with people on this. Rod, do you want to start us off on everything? Our ultimate goal of the whole conversation is how to find a good fix to slow drivers down through town, because that road's going to be used. We're not going to. And one of the ideas was, we had that bypass road. Nobody takes that bypass road because it's so poor. And by replacing that bypass road isn't saying that people have to always use that bypass road, but it is an option that people can use it also. But yes, Rod, will you start us off?
Yeah, I think Josh too is gonna, has been in on this quite a bit as well. But after the last meeting, we had the town folks come in and they had brought their attention to it. So we felt pretty good about thinking that we were gonna do some speed bumps, and not saying we won't, but things were, I ended up getting some phone calls and brought to my attention that You know, as far as the bypass road goes, yes, absolutely. Our goal is to have that used as much as possible. But you know, to go over the overpass, you know, obviously we're gonna, I didn't even think of this in the last meeting, but even with farm equipment and trucks and, you know, not so much trucks, but farm equipment, they're gonna go through town because, you know, you're not gonna take a combine or an air seeder up over top of that bridge on Highway 1. Just be so terribly dangerous. One of the things that that was brought to my attention, we talked about is with speed bumps. You know, I had mentioned in the last meeting that if coming to a start and a stop, to have stop signs. Now you got loaded trucks starting and stopping, the noise of air brakes and trucks taking on and off. Well, the same thing with speed bumps. You know, those conveyor trailers go through town with the conveyor. You know, they're, I don't know, I'm going to guess 25, 30 feet long, and they're just gravity weighted sitting there. And every time they go over a bump, you know, they're just going to bang, bang, bang. And, you know, to listen to that is going to be quite annoying, you know, for two. And then it's hard on those. Every time they bang, it's really hard on them. You know, do the traffic. It was saying this. I'm not saying that we're not going to do anything, because our ultimate goal, like Steph said, is to try and help everyone. There's a real need with the kids that are there and stuff, that we want to have them safe as well. So then it comes to, I talked to Wayne and we talked about signs, flashing signs. And as myself traveling as much as I do, there are stop signs in town. We don't find per se in town speed bumps, but the majority what I find going through these small towns is flashing signs. They set a speed limit to whatever they want it to be, and it flashes really bright, like a red and a blue light or amber light, and the speed until you go to the speed limit, and it keeps flashing. Is that going to solve everything? Absolutely not, but it makes you very aware. We're all guilty of getting busy, zoning out, and you know, when you got that flashing right there, there is basically no excuse that you can't say, well, I didn't see it or whatever. You know, you'll definitely see it. So Wayne did, you know, price those out. The other thing, and I have nothing, we should have gotten a hold of KLJ. I've got nothing to truly back this up other than my own opinion, is that I'm with speed bumps, and Wayne maybe have something to say on this, is that when you take a speed bump and you get the weight, now you're distributing that weight within let's say that those are 8 inches wide. All the loaded truck going over top of those, you're going to put all that weight into an 8-inch area. You know, are we going to hurt the road over a short period of time? Got some feedback from some other people on the Hall Road. You know, I was suggesting that we try and do chloride, and you know, from listening to people, that they said is that the road, it's being bladed, but it's there again. Just we're running into this situation, is that the roads, you know, it's just such a lengthy time in between we can get the roads bladed. Just like what we talked about on the pipeline haul roads, to how they get pushed out flat and hold water. Well, that's what we have out there. You know, it was suggested that we try and rotate blades more often. And if we maybe go with the township, and then with the county, and then, you know, maybe hire CHS hires Gilbertsons or somebody to do it at a time, or whoever to do it. Maybe it doesn't have to be Gilbertsons, but whoever, to try and get down there and try and blade it more often, pull the shoulders in, and just keep it bladed. You know, there were all good ideas of everybody I talked to, and I think we just need to do what's safe and appeases everyone.
Is there any slow children signs on that road at all right now?
Not right now.
But I think if we have I mean, not that people do read those signs and are more aware and look for children. I do, but would that help too? You know, slow children's.
I don't know.
I
I have looked up a lot of sign prices for the flashing signs and also the rumble strips. I think children at play signs might help. Right now, there are signs where it says crossing, I think. There's 2 crossing places there, which people should slow down, but
But they
they
haven't.
don't. And rumble strips, plastic safety systems have rumble strips. You need 12-foot wide and they're 12 inches wide and an inch high. And for 6 of those, it's $5,759 from Plastic Safety Systems. There's another from Global Industrial. Take 6 sets, 12 feet wide, $2,615. And I think there's one more, but the cheapest one is that 2,615. Then I checked out, I've got 3 different flashing lights signs with your speed. LED Lighting Solutions has 2 signs, solar powered. Each sign is $3,644.99 for a total of $7,289.98.
All I know is the flashing signs. You go through Thompson's where I always look, right?
Yeah.
Where it yells at you and it's like, okay, those will make me have me pay attention to where I'm at.
All the ones working on a County 8, Wayne, how they doing up there?
How
would we know if you don't see it? You know what
I mean, it
You
shows-
see it.
that people are speeding.
Yeah, but I mean, the signs are still working, correct?
I think the one sign is the battery goes dead faster than the other one.
Okay.
But the problem is, we tried moving the solar panels around to get the right
Angle the sun.
light. In the wintertime, the sun is lower, so
Mm.
you don't get as much sun. I don't know if you could add another panel to it, to each
Okay.
one. I did order extra batteries because they told me I could put 2 batteries in there, so I'd have more charge in there for overnight.
Mm.
But our system does not have room for 2 batteries in it.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
So here's another Seaton.com, Safe Pace light system, $3,505.29 a piece. So $7,010.58.
Okay.
Then Traffic Logic is what we have up on the way to McHenry. And those 2 there, you can either get AC powered or solar, I believe, or at least the one. And then I contacted Traffic Logic. That's we have the signs with up by McHenry on County Road 8. The solar lead acid battery system is $5,427 for 2. That's she quoted me. And the AC is $4,456. It's quite a bit cheaper, but you have to get power to you'd have to trench power to the sign post.
Correct.
Somebody's got to pay for that electricity.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Be more consistent, of course, with that, but
yeah.
the power of it.
Right. Do we have comments from you guys? I see we have
I
guests
just have
here.
one before. Central Plains advises all the truckers that come from the south that they should use the bypass. It doesn't mean they're gonna do it, but they tell them in the office that that's the road they should be taking, so.
Yeah.
There again, they don't have any authority to require them to do it. but
Right.
And we did fix the road to be able to bear the weight
Yeah.
of people going through town too.
So
And-
Yeah.
I actually hauled one day after our last meeting. And driving the speed limit, I think I probably drove 16 miles an hour. It took me 54 seconds to drive through town. So it doesn't take a long time to drive through town in the first place for people. I mean, that was from the yield sign on the west side of town driving to the stop sign. So people can drive slow. We just have to enforce it, have to get some signs up. I mean, it's pretty inconsiderate if people have to drive.
Is there a reason why it's 15 miles per hour through that road? Are the rest of the roads 25? I don't
No,
know.
it's 15 through the whole town.
15 through the whole town?
15
But
through.
54
Okay.
seconds to drive through town. I mean, that was,
Right.
I hit started my stopwatch and drove through town.
No,
In other words, you're talking about maybe 10-second difference.
Well, yeah, I
If it
mean,
going 25 versus
it's
15.
not that big a difference for people to speed.
and that's why Debbie changed it because there was so much traffic through there. She wasn't trying to stop the traffic. She just wants it to slow down. Along with all the other residents, they just want people to slow down. It's
Okay.
what it is. And that's why they changed it to try and get people to slow down.
Yep.
Again, there's people who obey it. There's people who refuse to obey it. You know, what do we got to do from there? I don't know. And this is an ongoing process and we got to figure out something now because
Mhm.
somebody's going to get hurt.
Okay. You,
So I have a couple comments to start off. The first one, you guys mentioned the bypass and trying to maintain it better. That's a really hard thing. Like, I feel like we're doing about as good as we can. Not because we don't even have the resources, it's just like currently as it gets washboardier, blading it again doesn't help. The washboards come back like the next day. You have to have it rain consistently and things like that, so. Yeah, it's being maintained as well as it can be, I feel, Tar. For the amount of traffic that goes through, I mean, really, it would need to be paved to get a better road. Plus, when it was put in, it was made really wide because it was to bypass the highway when they did the overpass. Which makes it even harder road to maintain, because it's not just a pass down and back. The blade has to go multiple times trying to, and then trying to get a crown on it's very hard too. Last year, when when you guys were redoing County Road 26, we were bypassing through there. Their blade bladed it and he did it wrong and it turned it into a lake, like it just held water. And then after that happens, now you gotta fix it again. And so these types of things create town, but I would say most truckers do try to go around. They're not all going through town. It's more efficient to go through town though if you're gonna go get fertilizer. So in the spring, that's when the heaviest traffic probably is because the fertilizer plant is on that side of the tracks. And so that's why people are probably using it more now. The comment about the equipment, that was another one I was gonna say, yeah. You can't not allow farmers through town because the overpass is more dangerous.
mhm.
What was the other one I was thinking of? I don't know, the speed, I feel that, I don't know what options you guys are gonna pick or not, but to me, it's a through road. It's not, it is in the town, but it's like 45 is in Cooperstown. I mean, you guys don't put speed bumps on 45, it's patrolled, and you try to make sure that people obey the law. I feel like we're the same way. County Road 26, it's a farm to market road. It's meant to handle that kind of traffic. People need to be reminded that by enforcing it. And the town people have to also obey the fact that it is a major road. And maybe, fences in your yard or things like that to try to keep your kids from running out in a heavily used street.
Yeah, that highway was redone. And we did that up to 105.5. Is one of the reasons that I think we got the grant was because we were gonna allow 105.5 when it's not a low limit season. And there is sidewalks on the one side of the street, not both sides, so they can travel from one crossing zone to the other. I
But
agree.
this comes in, this problem came in when they did the roads, when they did that overpass, it should have never been there. It should have been on the west side of town and went around town. But that's the whole problem. They let it come into town. Now they're grumbling about it because it's here. Well, they should have went around town at the time, Cause they should have realized, cause when they were doing it, we figured there was 300 trucks a day during harvest and stuff coming to that elevator.
Yeah.
So that's what they sat and waited, cause they wanted business in town. Well, now it's there, it's too late. You can't change it no more. It's all, that's what they're gonna have. So it's, all you can do is put precautions and stuff up to protect, the people and stuff.
Yep.
And you gotta maintain the road. That's all we can do with it, cause that's where we're at. We can't change it no more. It's here.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have trucks and they're constant. I live right along the overpass, and when they lifted the overpass, I can hear them going all the time. All the time there's trucks going. Even at 4 a.m, there's propane trucks. There's always traffic on these roads, and they go around the bypass. A lot of trucks go on that bypass. During harvest, I can sit and count all day. There's 10, 20 trucks going every few minutes up to that elevator. So it makes a difference. It's there. The problem's there. But how are you gonna maintain them to straighten this all out? That's what, you're gonna have to find the blading. You're gonna have to get more blading, like you said, that has to be done.
Mhm.
And we only can do so much of it, because we don't receive all the tax money from out there. We only get 5%. The rest the county gets out there. They're the ones getting the lump sum of that money out there. That's where we look at it, because we only budget so much in our township. We only got so much to work with.
Mhm.
Because we can't, run the blade all the time out there, That's what we have to end up doing, so. But the problem there is what you're gonna do with it, these speed bumps ain't gonna help you in town. I don't think they're gonna cause more problems than good. I think that's what's gonna happen in the city. But the trucks will go around, but when they do go through town, they'll be jumping over all these bumps. Like the guy said, it's gonna affect your road. You just fix the road, you don't want it to go back to where it's at, again.
Right.
But they come from all directions. It ain't just they come from the north, they come from the west, they come from the south, they come from the east. When they come one direction, it's easier for them to go down that road because it's quicker to the elevator, and that's what the guy's gonna do. He's gonna go to the shortest route because he wants to be the first one at that elevator. He doesn't want to be, in that truck.
Right.
So that's what you gotta go with on this bunch. But like I said, maintaining that road, that's gonna be something if they say it's rough, well, like you said, all the roads in the county are rough right now. I don't care what
Yeah.
road you drive, it's rough because it can't maintain them, because the roads just dry. When they're
Yeah,
dry,
ours-
you can't maintain a road.
Our roads are so dry that
Yeah,
you could go out and blade it, but 2 days later,
Yeah.
it's
looks the
getting
same.
rough again.
Well, just moving gravel back and forth doesn't do any good.
Yeah,
You've gotta move it
Yeah.
off to one side and relay it, and then probably put
right.
salt on it or prime it on the top in order to keep it from drying out like that. But just
Yeah.
moving gravel just back and forth on the top,
Yeah,
that doesn't do any good. And I mean, it does good for the day, but within 2 days, it's back to,
Yeah, you need moisture in order to hold stuff together, even, you can.
well, if
Yeah,
they're
calcium chloride, everything.
laid decently, but you gotta move off to
Yep.
one side and relay the whole thing. You just can't just move the gravel back and forth between the ruts,
You're wasting your time.
basically.
You're wasting
gotta-
time, that's all it is.
You gotta cut out the holes and stuff, but when it's hard as this, you
Yeah.
can't.
Well,
Today you could.
move the soft stuff out,
Today you
drive
could.
on the hard stuff.
There's probably water standing there. So,
Yeah,
Brian, did you have anything you want to add, or?
Well, I'm just not really in favor of the speed bumps, I guess. They're gonna haul cattle through there and I don't wanna bounce a stock trailer over top of the speed bump, and
Right.
it's hard on our trailers, it's hard on your axles, hard on your tires. I said,
But
not in favor of that.
The light situation, I think that's a good thing.
Or a stop sign at the water tower, and
And
if it stops
actually-
on both ends, stop on both ends, should slow traffic down, I would think.
And actually in Hannaford, you've gotta stop and realize, it's yield right away, because there's no stop signs on the sides.
That's correct. That's
There's
right.
nobody there, so. if
I
you're
know.
gonna Want straight traffic through there, you're gonna have to put stop signs on each section. Or when you come along and there's somebody, when you pull out in front of somebody, and if they're on your right, you're at fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's traffic, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other, if you're gonna make that a straight shot road through there, you need stop signs on that street there to stop people supposed to
but
stop.
if the city put up the 15-mile-per-hour signs, so I think they should also be responsible for putting up
Well,
the stop signs and
If they
stuff,
wanted
not
to.
just the
but on the real traffic way, it's yield right away when you're driving. That's
Right,
when you
it's yield right,
come to an intersection, that's what you're supposed to do.
yield to the right.
Yeah, that's what it's meant to be in there, because I remember people having accidents and they claimed that, oh, that guy ran into, no, the other guy got a ticket because he didn't yield.
Yep.
On that road long times.
Kelly, I want to hear from you.
So we talked to a lot of the truckers that come in there. If we got a complaint or something, we talk individually with them, tell them to slow down. And most of them probably got their mindset on just getting out there and getting their load, getting out of there, and you're not paying attention. But I think maybe them flashing lights, hey, I do need to slow down. I know when I'm on the interstate, I'm in a zone, I'm not thinking about stuff. I'm into
Right.
construction zone or something like that, and you're still doing 75, 80 miles an hour, all of a sudden you see that flashing light, oh, better get on the brakes here. I think it brings it to your attention a little bit more. I think that might be a good thing. But back to like the bypass road, we just put $7,000 into that thing last week to fix off of Highway 1, across the old railroad bed. And then so we could send trucks down that way. We did probably 50, 60 feet and $7,000 to dig it out, lay rock in there, put fabric and gravel it again. We also did from that point to the west, probably about 5 years ago, we dug all that out, rocked all that, and shored that up. So, but frost boils are gonna do that to any road, it doesn't matter, so.
Yeah.
That road was built way too wide for what we need out there. You could probably take 4 semi down that thing and beat them, that's how wide it is. And it's like a moat when it rains, because the sides are too high. It needs to be, shoulders need to be brought up, everything needs to be brought in, but I think with the tax that we paid to the county at like $371,000 a year, I'm not sure that we want to put a lot of money into that. Township doesn't get much of it. The thing was kind of dumped onto those guys years ago, and they could pretty much spend all their budget just on maintaining that road.
Right.
So the road that we own that comes off that bypass road coming into CHS, we put road reclaim on there, asphalt reclaim,
Mhm.
acted in. It's decent, it's not great, I mean, it means, but it took the dust control down, so we don't have a lot of dust. But there's still potholes and stuff like that. We do have to maintain it and put gravel here and patch it once in a while, but we tell most of our trucks go out on the bypass and come back on the bypass. We try not to send too many trucks down through town, just to be courteous to the people in town, but it is a county road, and it's not a city street. So we
Right.
should be able to utilize it as we need, and our customers should be able to use it. They're paying taxes too. And you guys just rebuilt it and made it all the way up to a high limit road.
Yep.
So, but as far as us, we try to maintain as much as we can. We, like I said, the other day, we just had Gilbertson go down and move the gravel from side to side. I'm sure it's not very good again already after a few days of trucks pounding on it, so.
This rain probably doesn't help, so I'm sure it made it a little sloppy, because I know all the roads are just sloppy right now, so.
Do we have any reclaimed asphalt, Wayne, down on the shop? I wonder about the state. They have that big pile out west if we could buy.
Well, the trouble is with that reclaimed asphalt, it does settle the dust down, but it gets washboardy. Some reclaimed stuff, it's got enough oil in it, so it's a little sticky, but some gets so dried out.
You know the pile I'm talking
Yeah.
about out west there. I was just wondering if they don't seem to know what to do with it.
So I was talking to one person about it. Is that something that maybe we adapt as a county road versus a township road? Can we do that and be on our end about that? Well, that's why I'm bringing it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
can't.
think the township's in favor of that. We didn't want the road when
That wasn't a road you guys,
It was a prairie
Did
trail.
it- Oh,
With a
so-
prairie trail, yeah.
That road was built up, yeah. What?
oh, that
there's
is an
a-
idea. I
there's a
think
grass
that's something we
bridge, yeah.
can look into, Jamie. I don't know if it's a,
Oh, yeah, the state, like, you could take it if you want it.
Because it's only like about a mile stretch. I mean, it's not.
Wayne doesn't want it.
Well,
I don't want, I'm gonna be gone, so.
could you?
But still, I mean, that's another place to meet in the middle with these guys, you know? I understand it's more maintenance on your end and more cost, but at the same time, you know, if
I think
If it-
instead of making it a county road, I think that the county probably could help out a little bit with it maybe. And keep it a township road and see if the county helps out a little bit with it, see if we can work with Central Plains to get some help from them too. I know we just stuck some money into it, but I think it's for the benefit of everybody in the county to do something to that road, at least the farmers of the county and just about every farmer.
If we could transfer that $300,000 to the road department.
We can pay it.
We could pay.
But I think.
We
that
gotta
would
pay for
probably
your
be the
building
most
though, too.
common sense thing to do is for everybody to work together on it.
yeah,
Yep.
How did you guys do, nobody was on board at that time on the commission, like the road from Highway 200 into Sutton? That was rebuilt and built up, was that a grant or how did you?
But we rebuilt the road ourselves. The county rebuilt the road. All except the last north mile. Because the pavement was all getting broke up from trucks going to Bush Elevator.
Yeah.
And so and then we got money through the state. We paid 20% and the state paid 80% of our money. We get money from the federal government every year, and then that's banked out in Bismarck until you can save enough money up to do a project. And so that's what we did, so that our 80% paid for 80% of it, and then we had to have 20% local funds.
Yeah. Is that something going forward, since Bush isn't out there anymore, they've pretty much pulled up stakes and left? Is that something that going forward in the future, is that something to get that thing
Possible.
redone and
be.
built out?
Probably only if we turned it into a county road.
Well, I think the township could apply for flex fund money and the township and county probably could do it together and that would probably be the best way to do it. I mean,
And
they
you
were
could,
looking for projects. I don't know. I mean, I think this is probably an ideal use of flex fund and either pave it or have a big rebuild project or something. But it would probably take some partnership from the county because I'm guessing even the match the township wouldn't be able to make.
I know it's kind of getting off topic because we're here to discuss what's going through Hanford.
Correct.
Yeah, today,
I think it's both I think both of them were.
yeah.
But I think it's a good idea, and I think flex fund money is probably part of it is safety, and that's a big concern of the DOT with the grants. Well, this is right on par with what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, it could even be a pavement project. I mean, I think that it's something to potentially look at.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
And
happening.
it might take money from the county and township, and maybe it might take money from CHS too to be able to get it to work, because that's probably $1 million or $1.5
Over $1 million, yeah.
they'll
If
probably,
there is money available at the state, it wouldn't be able to be something that would be done this year, but the money could be applied for. It's something to talk to Paul about probably.
Yeah, they like those projects that share the cost. You know, we got a project going into Red Willow that we tried it before asking for 100% funds, and they didn't allow it, just like Hannaford got not approved. And so then the next time we sent in and said we'd share the cost, county would with the state, and then it went through this year. So, and like Jamie said, there are funds and they like that where you share with somebody else.
From my understanding is the people or the subs that got flex fund money were subs that put money beforehand, whether it's $30,000, $100,000, whatever. They had a stake in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's gonna require a conversation between all three parties and seeing what we can afford to put into it. But I think that's a valid thing to do would be to apply for that money for that bypass.
Okay, so you guys think that we could probably in the future move forward to discuss flex funding with the township to apply and work with that?
I think we could probably have KLJ come up with a plan for that.
Okay,
I think we'd have to, have them.
Well, I mean, they're
They
used to
apply.
writing for
Yep.
grants and
Yeah,
stuff,
that's what I
so.
mean.
So I guess a question to ask of the township and of CHS is if this is something that county tried to go forward with and can take a partnership from everybody, would you guys be willing to put some money into it?
I can't answer for CHS because I need to round up several more levels before we could do anything like that, but yeah, I mean, it's. At my level, I can't make that approval, but we can run it up through the chain and see if they would be interested in something like that, but then you look at the tax that we're paying already, that's a pretty good thing for Griggs County having CHS, in your tax base, so.
Yep.
As far as township goes, I mean, I'm sure we could come up with some funds. We don't have very many, I don't know what you're thinking for an amount. And then on top of that, once it were paved, we would never be able to take care of it. Because paved road
Yeah.
is just too expensive to try to take care of.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. I mean, I like the idea of paving it, but you also have to realize like the road is already there. The other one that we're trying to bypass everybody, and it's a nice road and it works. And you're trying to spend a lot of money to not use it.
But
And then
also
have
when
another
they're,
road
when
to
they're
take
coming
care
from the south,
You're probably
It's-
only gonna get 30% of people to use that road, the other 70% that's coming from the north.
Still are gonna go
I don't
through-
know if they're gonna
yeah.
go all the way.
but at the same time too, it's a safety deal from them coming from the south because it keeps them from going over the bridge and causing an accident that way. so.
Speaking of that, what percentage comes from the south? What percentage comes from the north, do you think, of trucks?
I think a majority of our grain probably we were talking grain now.
Yeah.
Probably comes from the west.
Oh, it does.
It comes down Highway 200 and comes around.
Okay.
A lot of the grain to the south, you got Bertha companies and you have, Columbia grain just south of us. They take some of that, but we take a majority of it to the west and northwest,
Okay.
some from the east. So, yeah.
I would
It's
say-
just, I'm sure it varies on cost, what you're getting
Oh, yeah, right,
contracts and
right, yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that.
Let's say a lot of the Highway 200 traffic, not a lot of it, but a portion of it's there also because the Hannaford Road deteriorates so quick too. Like currently trucks, it's not fun trying to drive that gravel road.
I can count
That
on
one would need more.
one hand how many times I've taken that truck compared to, taking the gravel with our trucks compared to taking the highway.
Right, but I know are some farms that I used to see, and now I've seen them going around too, because it's just getting that bad.
That bypass road is that bad.
No, not the bypass.
county road.
The west
county
road.
Oh.
Going
26,
west.
east and west, especially,
Yeah.
I don't know how bad it
County
get,
roads on the south end
Yeah.
of Hannaford.
Oh.
Or I mean, south end of the county, whether it's the Wallem, when I can't remember.
that's 28.
28.
28, 26,
Okay.
and
Yeah, they see a lot of traffic too,
Yep.
they do.
They
Yep.
do.
26 and 28, I don't know about the northern kind of roads, but every time I'm on that road or something else, especially in the spring, I know you guys are driving on the road, which you have to, I understand, but that puts a lot of wear and tear, and then the frost heat comes up, and then it just makes it worse, and then, but, it takes time for all that to be straightened out, but I'm just saying that there's a lot of traffic on those two roads, a lot.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help, or one of the reasons why is because 26 connects all the way to Steele County, and I know there's a lot of, I'm sure you get a lot of business from Steele County too.
so
So right now then, Wayne, you think starting with maybe signs, flashing signs would be the best option to begin with? Suit everybody or what?
Flashing signs, I suggest flashing signs and children at play signs, both of them. So they can see we're flashing you and there's children at play, but that's my 2 cents.
Okay, let's make a motion to do that.
Coming from the east,
Yep.
that sign is actually too close to the intersection.
Yep.
When you're coming around that intersection and trying to miss the curb and the vehicles at the bar. By the time your truck is straightened back up, you're crossing the tracks and you've already passed the speed limit sign.
you need to be closer to the church.
Yeah.
than it does
Closer
to-
to-
Okay,
And
all right.
like, even like your 6-ton road limit sign, yeah, nobody ever sees that thing coming around, because you'll tell them, well, you just came down that road with 80,000 pounds or more, and, when he goes, wait, I didn't even see it. It's-
So the question is, do you want to maybe have it on both spots just because are they gonna want to be able to see the signs when they're sitting at the coming up from the bottom of the hill?
The bottom of the hill is not the problem, it's coming off Highway 1.
It's coming off
Highway
Highway 1, okay,
Because if you come from the east, you should be at 6 ton anyway.
okay.
If you put it too far down, They'll already
Then
turn,
they're already.
they already
committed,
turned the
so
corner.
I don't know what you do there. It just, there's parked vehicles and stuff there. It's a tough corner.
You mean they make no parking there, Mike?
That'd be a good idea. No parking along that whole street. That actually gives you vision into
That would.
people's yards too.
So I've got a question. Is the 6-ton limit for town, is that just currently or always?
Just for now.
It's only.
Because
for-
it used to be the sign always sat right on the outside of town, and I always saw that one, on the sign there.
Yeah.
Because then you would bypass, you would have to turn and go up the,
Oh, maybe we gotta put lower.
yeah, right out there. Well, no, but I'm just saying, if you're looking at trying to see it, there's no reason to have it in town if it's gonna not
Yeah,
be for more than just a little bit longer.
but once you've already got committed on that road, if you
Yeah, I
put it up by the
gotcha.
church or you put it by the
Yeah, then
park,
you-
then it's just too late then.
Yeah.
But the speed limit isn't.
No.
The weight limit is, but the
That
speed
could be
limit
farther
is.
down.
And that's, I looked for that too when I was through last time and you just don't see that. Until after you get turned around the corner.
Okay, so let me sum it up. We're talking about flashing signs closer to the church. The speed limit flashing sign, is that,
Yeah, I mean, if,
Okay.
I think he was just meaning that there's that 15 mph white sign
okay,
yeah,
to be moved.
Move
and,
further.
okay,
Just back.
Farther into
just
town.
back along, yeah. By the park there, between the park and the church.
okay.
Well, by the park, because that's where the kids are playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you should have
Thoughts?
flashing.
Okay, and the thoughts on parking on the side of that road, on that road at all? Is that a yes or a no, or is that just kind of a thrown out there as a,
what we could do is we'll do the
It's opposite
flashing,
this time.
and if it's still an issue, maybe we will take the parking away. How about we just do the
Okay.
flashing signs first? Because I don't wanna, same thing, I get where you guys are coming from, I do about traffic's on that road, but at the same time, there's a church on that, I mean, people should be able to park on that road too.
Okay.
But if it creates more of a safety concern, maybe then, yeah, we'll take the parking away. Or do a 2-hour parking or something like that like they've had in the past.
okay? And child at play. I don't know, I think that's a good, because the concern is for the children.
Mm-hmm. Children, then, I'll talk to the city about and all that, about them getting more stop signs at the intersections on their end, like you said, to help people running and pulling out into traffic and stuff like that too.
Here's the thing about the solar signs.
Yeah.
You're in town, so there's trees and stuff.
So-
It's gonna be
So should we try to
probably
get,
shading that.
so should we try to get one with power to it?
Well, I don't know if you
That's-
can get it.
Basically, what that would take is you would have to contact Otter Tail, you'd have to trench in a service and then come off that service and hit it. So, Otter Tail, they'll provide the wire, but you still have to pay someone to trench it in. Put a
There's no
service in
light
there.
poles or anything.
No. Depends on where we put them, over by the church, I think there's a light pole there, stuff like that. If we do tie it to some kind of the light poles and all that the city has, they're only gonna charge for at night when, how should I put this? They're only gonna charge at night when the lights are on versus, during the day, where if you have some permanent power hooked up to it, it's gonna have power at all times.
So is there power to the pole up there and then the light is just,
It depends on, so it depends on, the light pole and everything else. I know Main Street, they're all separate, or the main drag, the Highway 1, but those, there might be there, yes, but you'd still have to come down, hit a service and tie power into it. I could look into it, talk to Otter Tail if you want me to. So,
So,
I mean, it just depends on where you want to put them and, if there's a pole there. That would be the only issue.
so anyway, still I have a motion. on the floor.
Hello.
Go ahead,
Hi,
Rod.
Rod.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to talk there. The light poles got power all the time. It's just a photo eye that turns them on and off. So
Yeah.
if we tap into a light, into the service, the town pays a flat rate usually on a light pole. They don't even have to, normally on Otter Tail provides a flat rate for the poles, for the lights as a bill. They pay the same amount every month. And I'm not gonna say that is in Hannaford for sure, but I know that that's how normally it works. And so I would suggest that we just tap into their service and have them on a permanent, we're not messing with batteries or solar panels.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can do that. We just gotta make sure we put that where a light pole is what I'm saying.
Right. Yep, I agree with you, but I definitely think that we should go with permanent powered ones that we're not messing with.
Yeah, we've had a lot of problems with the battery operated ones.
Okay. Okay,
And all I gotta do is make a phone call to Otter Tail. Usually they talk to their engineer, to make sure they're good on their end, but since they draw such little power, I don't see why it would be an issue.
So there'd have to be a pole on each side.
Pole on each side, or it depends, like I said, are we gonna maybe put them in the center of town? So, first they see the speed limit sign, and then they go a little farther if they are speeding, you could sit there and flash at them.
Mhm.
Yep. There's a strobe light that flashes also.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's checking the speed and
I'll,
marking down.
I'll look into that then, about that in that area in the center of town, where the closest power pole would, something we could tap off of
Yeah.
to do that.
Just
So,
put a camera up and then they can just tip you tickets all the time.
Oh,
That would probably be one other thing, if we had a little more presence of the sheriff's department down there once in a while to.
Yep.
Just to sit there, just to keep everybody honest, and it doesn't need to be hours on end or every day, just once in a while, come sit down there someplace and have a presence. I know in like, they were talking a couple weeks ago or whatever it was, well, then the trucks just get on the radio and well, that's fine, get on the radio and let everybody know.
Yep.
That the HP is there, or the sheriff's department is there, just so they're aware of it, and then we could slow down and be aware of it, so.
and I know if we get that grant and get another police officer in this county, they would be able to definitely help out a lot more with that.
Folks, I gotta go, I got an appointment at 10:30,
Yep.
so.
thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so to sum this up, flashing lights,
and we need a second.
I
Oh,
second it.
I'll second it.
Whatever, whatever.
Somebody has
Write
to.
one down.
I guess my thing is waiting for you to check on the permanent power. We figured that with you and Josh, figure it out, yeah.
I'll
So,
talk to.
Josh will check on.
okay,
so the motion on the floor is to put up flashing speed limit signs or speed dial signs
Mhm.
in Hannaford on that road, okay? And that was by Scott, second by Josh, second by
well,
Lauren,
whatever.
second by Lauren. Is there any discussion on that? Discussion,
We should do this revert, but anyway.
however that was.
Yeah, like I said, we can just do it and then I'll coordinate with Wayne. And, cause how much is the cost on those for the powered one?
I think for the AC powered was 4,000.
It's less than.
It would be nice to have a follow-up on this once this is all said and done to see how it is going.
Yeah.
Is it improving? Is it not improving?
And that's another thing too, like I said, we can make adjustments from there. About traffic, parking, worst case scenario, put stop signs in town if it doesn't work, but let's try something like you said, let's try and get away from that noise and then we can slow traffic down.
Yeah, I think what Kelly said about the enforcement, I think not just enforcement, but actually proof that this is a thing. I still don't, I know people are probably doing 20, 25 through town, but people saying they're doing 40, unless you're clocked at 40, I'm not sure they are. I mean, flying through pretty quick. And that, I don't know, I don't believe that there's more than one every now and then that does that. So.
But it's not just the farmer, or it's not just
No,
people going out to CHS, there's other, just regular drivers
Yeah.
speeding through
Yeah,
there,
and that
so.
happens all the time.
So that's why we can't sit there and blame it on the elevator or blame it on all the farmers. There's other people driving on that road and they are speeding. Like I said, I was sitting there the one day, I caught a few of them and the one of them, I called their boss and said, get a hold of this guy, tell him to slow down because he was not only speeding, I could tell he was speeding. He wasn't paying attention. He was sitting there staring at his phone the whole time and he blew the stop sign.
Mm.
So that's why. And it, stuff like that. That's why it's a concern. You know, there's people obviously not paying attention when they're going through town, or like they said, they want to save the 30 seconds getting through town just to get out there to dump right away.
Right. Yep.
So
Any other discussion? Okay,
AC powered ones are 4,456.
I'm gonna do a roll call on this.
so
Yeah.
let's put that number in there for the 4,000, what, 256?
456.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that, so.
Okay. Rod,
I,
Scott,
All right,
Josh,
Aye.
Lauren,
Aye.
Stephanie votes aye. Fantastic. Well, thank you, everybody. I feel we got a good start to help everything. I appreciate you coming in.
They have time to stop, right?
And Kelly, can I have you sneak on in? We're gonna back up and go to Kelly right now.
Yeah, I gotta get back to my meeting.
I mean, we don't make you, when you get.
I don't have a copy of the contract, but I can get it. I can get it later too.
I have it right in front of me.
And Otter Tail would provide the wiring.
it's here somewhere.
That
I
new
saw
one
it.
now. It's been
Yeah.
updated or whatever.
Yeah, they,
This one?
Basically.
yes, yep. Okay.
However that takes, whether we gotta bury it.
I just need a copy whenever you're done. What's that? I just need the copy when you're done. Oh, yeah, I'll give it back to you.
But
And then
I'm-
I can just get a copy.
I'm
from you,
assuming-
So,
I'm assuming they're I'm assuming they're.
It's the solar. It's the solar. So 1,000 there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So what we have wiring and all that, we'd still have that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The floor is yours, Kelly.
okay, we got a revised copy of the contract for you all to review and sign. It looks like when the state, I didn't catch it. I think there was an attorney that caught it and contacted the state. There was some duplicate pages, I think. It was like 2 pages 2 and 2 pages 4. Anyways, the state had accidentally sent out some copies that were not put together correctly. So just need you to review it and decide if you want to, again, enter a contract with the state and then just sign it like you did last time.
Okay.
What do you recommend?
We already did approve it once.
I know. Well, I was gonna
It's
say,
just
if she
the-
recommended it again.
Corrected revision.
Yep. And same thing, our, like I said before, our FTEs went up. So we did get an increase in funding from the state. So, and it looks like we're on a path for that.
Okay, so I'm looking
Anyhow.
for a motion to
I make a
approve
motion,
the
we-
revised.
I make a motion to approve it.
Motion by Lauren. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Josh. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Bar and none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Opposed, same
Aye.
sign. Perfect. Motion carried. Thank you, Kelly, for,
Did you want her to sign this one? Yes, please. Okay.
thank you
All right,
for your
thank you.
time. Okay, we got Sheriff Michaelis, if she is here. There's your pen. With nothing there. Okay. We're gonna move on to the weed officer position. Rod, I'll give you the floor.
yeah, we talked last meeting about it and that we wanted to, or I wanted, we've had this issue the last 2 years of trying to figure out how to keep up with the county spraying. Since the last meeting, I've had several people I've spoken with, I've been out delivering fertilizer around, and there's people that have just said there is a real need for this, and they think that it was a good idea to move forward. We own a pickup, we own a sprayer, we got 7,000 for chemical. And then we've got a guy that is certified to move forward with the qualifications to handle the position, not only as a laborer, but because I think the only one else is Scott. You're the only one that carries the license in with us. Is that correct?
Yeah. I have a commercial
Yep.
applicator. That's correct.
Yep. So the gentleman we're looking at has a commercial applicator's license. So if we could move forward with hiring him and just he's willing to work roughly, what I'm thinking, this is all up to discussion, but if we get $6,000 a year, and if we take that $6,000 a year and put it into the summer months, that would give us 300. If you paid him $20 an hour, that would give you 300 hours that he could spray. He asked me about hours of spraying, if it would be set times. Obviously, anybody that sprays knows you can't have set hours that you would, because it rains or windy or whatever. He's an early riser, so he said he'd like to get it ready to go the night before and leave early in the morning and go spray. That's usually when it's the calmest. So, I think if we were just to give him 20 hours a week and say you do it at your pleasure, your time that you feel is fit, and that throughout the summer we could get everything back under control, because there's, you go to the Bible camp down there, to not just at the Bible camp, but I'm talking down in that area to Sutton, to Red Willow. There's leafy spurge kind of all over. So I think it's just every year it's just growing more and more. Last year we spent $7,000. We took the $7,000 from the chemical and we contracted it out. And
That is incorrect.
I just
Nope,
we
I'm gonna
did not.
stop you right there. I did listen to the last meeting, and no, we did not contract with Right Away or with Dane Mueller. We had asked him if he would like to spray, but he did not.
Okay.
So that's not accurate.
Okay. I thought we did, but that's even more so a reason why we need to get our own and get going forward with it.
Yeah, so the weed budget that we have $6,000 for chemicals, $6,240 for salaries. That $6,240 is actually for your weed officer. I am currently your weed officer. So we have not had anybody else spraying for the county. The agreement that was put together when I started was that I would do all of the reports. I would do the grant funds, and then the road department would spray the county roads. The LAP program that was spoke about last time, we are not eligible because you do have to budget and levy 3 mills each year. So and that was for landowners. They can get different chemicals and then spray their own, and then we would reimburse that.
Wasn't it like 40 or 50,000 we had to budget for years ago?
Yep, so it'd be 3 mills.
It was a
going-
lot back
Yeah,
then.
It was more than we would.
Correct. That's right.
So we're not
Yeah, I
able
know.
to take
I know.
advantage of that. But we are able to take advantage of the TAG program. That TAG program, last year we got just under $9,000. I put in for the weed attachment for the Kubota, and so they did approve that, and that was because I told them that the weed department is the one that goes out and sprays, and so then that was eligible. In the past, I've gotten us the TAG grant funds for chemical, for tires on the new pickup, the wheat, or like the mowing attachment, like I said. Rod had asked me to look into to see if that program can be used to get the side-by-side, a new side-by-side, and it can. But all of these things were because of that TAG weed program. I was also, the agreement was that I would take care of complaints when I got them. I've not received any complaints, so just a little update on the whole position on itself.
But yeah, and I'm not disputing for a second what you've done, and I appreciate what you've done. And I'm just wondering, I'm looking for a way that we can do our own spraying. We used to, when I was in high school, I worked for the county, and there used to be 2 older gentlemen that would go out and they sprayed. They came in and that's what I want to get back to where we got guys actually out spraying the county.
Did we spray
Um,
last year, is my question. We did
No,
no spraying
No.
last year.
No,
I think, like they said, if right away didn't do it, we probably didn't have anybody to spray.
no.
So that's why.
One thing I will say, we do need spraying on Southern Highway is yellow all summer, but we, we can't just hire someone without advertising. I was gonna say it, but I agree with Rod, going on the Sutton Highway is. It's always been bad for leafy spurge, but it's noticeably worse the last couple of years. That's a county road, we need to start taking care of it.
yeah.
Do we
No,
have any-
and the program, I mean, as far as the buying a side by side and everything like that is wonderful, but if we don't have anybody, currently we've got to pick up a sprayer, a side by side, everything that we're not using. We can buy all the equipment in the world, and if we don't have somebody to put behind the wheel of it, it does us no good.
And we have right
So
now,
is your suggestion, Rod, to have the weed officer be the same person that does the spraying? Is that what you're?
Correct. Yeah, yes, exactly. That is, as long as they have the license, that if we advertise for it, as long as they have the license, have them be the weed officer, the applicator, and go and do all of it.
Okay.
That's gonna be hard to do too, isn't it?
Why,
Mm.
how?
Well, if you have budget so much like whatever you said, 20 hours for a few months in the summertime, you won't have anybody to do the grants or do in the winter or fall or whatever.
When
so-
do you do the grant, Sam? And how long do they take you?
I do different reports, I guess I just do them when they're came up. I haven't put it together or anything like that, but there's different reports that you would have to do and then that TAG program.
So we're doing all the work every year, but we're not spraying.
So let's just find out.
Well, it's two different programs, really.
But I think it could be combined into one.
Okay,
That's my goal, I guess, is, to combine it into one position, that we could get somebody to do it and get back out. And because right now, I mean, there again, I'm not knocking Sam or they're saying she's not doing a good job. She is, but it's not helping the county. It's not helping the problem. I mean, it's helping the county because we're getting the stuff, but we're not spraying the weeds.
Well, I understand that, but if somebody's writing the grant, taking time to write the grants and get stuff out of that fund or budget or grant money, to have the same person that's out for so many hours spraying weeds, will he have time to be doing all? That's all I'm getting at. I think it's almost takes two people. I mean, one that sits and does their paperwork and things like that. I think we need to find somebody that we can afford somehow through the county to afford somebody to go out and do the spraying. And I don't,
so what is the monthly breakdown of the salary again?
The salary for the year is $6,240.07.
Which is how much a month?
500.
So $500 a month. And what do you do monthly for it? As officer?
I haven't broken anything down. I didn't expect to do that. I guess I can for the next meeting, but I just, when it needs something, when these reports come up, then I take care of them.
Okay,
I think we need somebody
I
now to get started on the spraying.
Another question I have, that's something, so I know we're gonna
Do
be
we have
looking
any
for
money
another
in it?
guy with the road
Fine.
department. Is that something he could do
I
part-time?
mean,
while
if
he's
you wanted to
helping
use
guys?
the chemical.
Could, if we can.
There's
get another guy.
$6,000 in
We used to
chemicals.
spray when we
Do
had,
we have
Matt Munson.
chemical?
he was certified, Brian
They
Pfeiffer was certified, I am certified, Kenny Sandvik was certified. So we had an extra guy that we could spray in days when we were doing something else. When we lost that guy and I couldn't hire somebody back, they didn't allow me to hire anybody back.
You're short a
We're
man.
short. So now what do? Do we haul gravel? Do
right.
we spray?
I think we need somebody else to
You
do
don't
the
spray
spraying.
right away.
we got any money in your budget in order to hire somebody or?
Not this year, but we're talking about it for next year, right?
But I suppose they want spraying this year.
We do need,
We're well-
in this year, we do.
Yeah, no, I'm looking to try and do something this year because there again, we've got everything to do it as long as we can put somebody
In the rig.
behind the wheel to go do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Samantha does a good job with the bookwork and stuff, and she has somebody has to do the application of the grants, where I don't think I could. I probably could, but just somebody that's coming in to spray probably can't do all that. other stuff.
That's my point. I'm just getting at. I think we gotta find money for that spraying without
For,
affecting the, the
what I would
bookwork.
like, what I'd like to see is like a time management study as to how long does it take you to do a task? And when do you do the task for the weed officer position monthly? So give us a job description. This is what you do every month. This is how long it takes you to do it. This is the report I do. How long does it take to do the report? This is the grant I fill out once a year. How long does it take to fill out the grant?
Well, I don't think that's really gonna do him much
So
good.
then that way you can
We
see,
gotta get started with a weed person now, not sitting.
Wayne, how much
Push it up.
chemical do you guys have down there?
I don't know.
Not enough.
Because we do have
Look at
6,000,
Inventory of what we have and stuff left.
because we do have 6,000 for chemical this year that we budgeted for. Wondering if we could maybe take that and,
$6,000 in chemical, especially stuff.
But I'm just trying to,
Torrance expensive.
That's not gonna cover what.
but I think we've bought it in the past, and if we haven't been spraying, then we would have that on hand, and we could use this for the.
I don't know that. I think we gotta get started with the spraying and as far as 20 hours a week, that I don't think we want to budget anybody by the week. If we want 100 hours or, a length of time, because when I was spraying, a lot of times you'd get started at 5 in the morning and you might go to noon or.
Correct, that's right.
That whole week, it might be a good week and you could get a lot done in that week, not just have to quit.
So
Rod,
I agree with that.
yeah,
Yep.
Rod, sound like the person we're gonna hire is pretty flexible, correct?
So I
Yeah,
think if
yep.
you're rolling on it, you have to advertise for it. Whether,
Okay.
and I'm sure the person that Rod has picked out is gonna be a great person, but we have to do it. It doesn't
Okay.
matter if the law states that we have to do
Okay.
it.
But I think we gotta get started on advertising and get something going, and somehow or another, we gotta try find that money. If we do it next meeting or whatever, I'm not, but I think we should,
But
Wayne really doesn't have anybody to send out there. I mean,
Yeah.
you got the other work that you need to get done.
that's what I mean.
Well,
maybe-
it used to be done by, like, when I worked for the county, there used to be done by some couple retired guys. They went out and did all the spraying back then.
But they gotta
So I
have a
think that's
license now.
Mhm.
Correct.
right.
okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as do you think, is that position of the $6,200 that Sam gets now? I mean, okay, so how many hours do we work to get that amount of, that money? I mean, is there part of it that can go, that we can use to do this? If we get, do we need 6,200? $500 a month, that's an awful lot that's a pretty good chunk of change. To do, if you're only doing a couple hours of work a month. I don't know how many hours you are working, but I'm saying if that's what you're doing is a couple hours a month for $500, when we could use that over on this side.
right. Can we find a comparable split on it?
I'll ask one
I
other
know
question.
how many
just out
hours
of
you put
Wayne.
in there.
If you got a license, can you hire somebody to go out and just do the spraying, or does he have to have the license?
You have, this is,
Yeah.
okay, this is how this law reads. Okay, on the commercial end of it is this, I have a commercial license. of
I
course.
had one.
Yeah, anyway, but you have to be, let's say you hire somebody to do it, you have to be in a certain time frame of that person spraying it. You follow me, within a certain miles or whatever it is to, you know, almost like a direct supervision with him.
Yeah.
You know, if you have your license, someone that's underneath you, you follow me?
I can't remember. I was
Yeah.
20 years ago when I was with the state and then
I
I
know,
got a
that's what I'm
commercial
saying.
license then.
It's
but
changed a little bit
I-
since then,
Yeah.
so.
I
But
just, that's why I was asking if.
Yeah. So,
If the person out there needed that license or
I think-
maybe you know the answer.
well, that's what I mean, that's, you have to be certain, you have to be so much, can't remember how the law,
Isn't it? It's, I think it's so.
it's time wise, I think you're right.
it's like
It's time
20
wise.
minutes or
Something like that,
Oh.
away from the whoever's doing it,
Yep.
be supervised, yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I think any place in the county, you probably could do that, but you're better off liability wise to have someone that has a commercial app.
Yeah, and I just,
I
just
agree.
a question I wanted to,
That's what the law reads, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
just-
because if we screw something up or hit somebody's crops, somebody's gonna be really, really mad. So-
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay, so game plan.
yeah,
You guys would like to have Sam advertise for this?
correct.
Okay, the next meeting will bring this back up again, but I think we need to find out the money, where the money is going to come from. And with that, I'd like to find out, Sam, how many hours do you put into it? Figure out how many hours you put into it a month, you know, for your position. You know, let's, on an average for that weed officer, I mean, how much do you put into doing the weed officer portion of it? Per month, because that will help us figure out, and then we'll find out how much do we have as far as the next meeting forward to use. Because that will be able to figure out how can we
well, you-
separate it and,
you're,
Well, you know, because I would have to believe that there's no paperwork or anything being filed or done in the winter time. So if you had half of the time, if you had 6 months, you know, that's $3,000. You know, if we had half of the money.
right.
what would you do with the other half?
It'll
Well,
allow
if,
the
that-
pay more,
if we're
pay
saying,
more.
yeah,
Well, we don't have anybody, if we don't have any money and we only got 3,000, you'd only have, if we were, I mean,
So let's
You'd-
start with that part first. So we'll bring that to the next meeting. So we'll advertise it, okay, and then we'll find out what the budget is, see what the budget, figure out hours. Perfect,
Okay,
all right. The DES position, if you guys will
Oh.
look on your,
yeah, Jimmy just walked out the door.
oh,
You would go to the restroom.
Oh,
Should we take a 5-minute break?
yes.
yeah, it sounds good.
Scott, motion for 5.
Yeah, I'll do
or
that. yeah.
Josh seconds. Any discussion, all in favor, say aye.
All right,
Opposed, Fine.
good deal. Okay,
I said nay. I said nay. Never. Yeah, yeah. I still think we need somebody rather than just. How many hours do you think are gonna take? I mean,
We only spray the county roads, which is quite a few months.
yeah,
Those old guys that come around, they used to spray in pastures and all.
Yeah.
They did
yeah, it just,
work for the auditor. Every day, let's see.
Imagine if there's no wind, you can cover some pretty good miles in a day. I would think. You're just spraying the ditches.
Especially like,
you know, but if you're gonna hire somebody, you gotta
You're next.
have a budget for it.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if you got any money or if we can find some in some other fund. Is there any other place we could find money?
I've talked to Pfeiffer to see if we finish soybeans.
Yeah.
In good shape.
Check it out for me right now.
Oh, last time I was.
Because
Almost every couple.
whatever they're talking
He
about.
must be close to- He did? Perfect, then he never hammered it out. 'Cause I didn't really want to shoot.
He's got 1,000 acres of driving split.
I know,
He always does it.
I know.
He likes
But-
it. He's not, but he makes money.
A couple under the cord only, I think.
Yeah, last year.
That's all that.
Yeah, corn going in again.
350. Yeah, I'm not done myself, I don't know. None.
And your dad had help?
Yeah, we have about 300 miles of road.
I've had. 3 people.
I gotta go to the sides, so we gotta go out of
I think I did right away. Try to scan it with $2,000 for U-Haul. They supposed to start, they never showed up.
I shouldn't laugh. I was over the first, but this week.
How are you?
Since Friday. This week. It's crop right there. That's just gonna be.
We gotta be careful. Can't
I don't know.
Whim.
What do you see?
Much. No, but any shower, you know, heat. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I suppose.
Gotta have documentation.
Mondays? Every Monday?
The only one.
I look good.
But there's more involved.
Right.
Okay.
Bulbs on something, you gotta get.
Okay. Are you back?
I don't know what we're talking about.
That
I've
thing.
never seen it before, we're not going to,
Problem solved.
because everybody else is.
Oh, I know, I'm just, we didn't put money into it.
I
don't
hope-
think it's. I don't
And,
That's why I sent it to you. I don't know.
Hard to know.
Okay, are we all ready? Back and ready?
well,
I'm ready.
that's
We're ready.
All
another
right,
year.
Jamie, come on down. Please and thank you. Okay, so we are moving on to the DES position. Jamie has graciously given us a summary of responsibilities for the position.
Yeah, so I guess I think that's a pretty good synopsis of the position, what would be required. Like, I guess like I said, I still think it's probably in the best interest to keep it within my office and just give it to Mackenzie. She has been participating in the trainings and the monthly meetings, I guess. I know she still has interest in having the position, so that would be my position for you guys, is to keep it within the courthouse and give the position to Mackenzie. I think that she would be able to handle the duties as well as do a good job of handling the duties. But that's a synopsis of the position, I guess.
Okay,
That have to be advertised.
If it stays within the state's attorney's office, no.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious.
You can just assign it to the office and assign it to the assistant for the state's attorney, and no.
Just,
If you ever, I mean, if you're going outside the courthouse, yeah, it should be advertised.
okay. Gotcha.
any discussion on this?
Did we advertise at the last meeting?
No,
No.
Okay. No, the last meeting you guys asked me to come up with a job description. So I did provide that to Sam last week.
Okay.
Thoughts on advertising?
Paper, Facebook, how we usually do.
Okay,
if you want my opinion, I think we just leave it, sign it to Jamie and let him find somebody.
Well, I think it just should be assigned to the state's attorney's assistant or assigned
Well,
to
that's-
Mackenzie within the state's attorney's office, but that would be my position. She's taken upon herself to start learning the position, visit with Ben, and go into the meetings, I guess.
Do we have to advertise for it, or can we keep it in?
You can keep it at home if you want.
Can keep it in house if we want.
my only suggestion, if you do keep it in-house, we'll just lower Jamie's budget, the dollar amount for the DES. Because she's not working any more hours, she's just taking on more
Is
responsibility.
that a problem with you?
But it'll lower your budget and we'll just put in that, absorb it in there. That's
I
what-
guess I guess I would speak with her. If I'm not taking part of it, I think my salary would be go down $300 a month, and whatever that is, what it is. There are more responsibility and more training. I think that position is already getting $100 every pay period, $300 a month, I guess.
It was $700 and some dollars per
And we-
month, I think is what
And it
it
was
is.
split it was split between the two people in my office at the time.
So, yeah. So
So
my,
it would give her another $300 a month if I wasn't taking the money.
we'll run into the same problem we had before when we gave one department two different, they didn't work any more hours.
No, remember that.
So if she does take it on, I suggest that we would lower his salary to include hers, include that the difference, so she makes the same.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think she deserves a shot. I mean, especially like he said, if we can keep it in-house and everything else, and if it's still an issue, then maybe we could advertise from there.
She is currently receiving extra for that position.
So
There wouldn't be any more money.
No,
Or-
she would actually,
She is currently receiving that other money.
Yeah.
so if we did out of house, she would actually lose hers and Jamie would lose his.
right.
And I don't really want to do that to her, especially if she's been training and doing the hard work. I personally think she deserves a shot at the position.
Okay.
That's my thought on it.
So I can tell you that Mackenzie has exceeded my expectations about her as far as her knowledge in the state's attorney's office. She has learned the position really well, and she is a self-starter. I don't think I will have any problem, or you will have any problem with her as the emergency manager. I think that she's gonna take it and run with it. I know Amber has been super impressed with her and would probably also vouch and say that I think she has the ability to handle the emergency management position. And it gives it more in order to learn something like that, it gives someone motivation, and it gives someone I think the additional ability to come to work and say that they're gonna learn something and have some stake in the community.
I'm kind of like these two guys right now. you know.
Okay.
I make a motion that we offer the job, Derek.
Okay, but here's, okay, can I get a second
Yeah,
on
go.
that?
I'll second it.
Okay, my discussion on this is, I will stick with this.
Yep, we said before with the money.
Is with the
Correct.
budget.
Yep,
She is not working more hours to receive more pay. She is just absorbing more responsibilities in that department. That's where we got in trouble before. And so if she does take on the position, she's not going to get any more pay. We'll just lower Jamie's budget for
Pay
the,
her more.
and use the DES money to compensate for that. So she's,
I agree with Steph on that. We just went through this once.
Yeah, and like Jamie said, he's understands that, so.
Okay.
okay,
So you're not going to give her that extra pay.
no, she will, no extra pay. We'll just, we'll fix the budget.
Is that what we're doing?
It's up to you guys. That's up to you guys, and maybe Mackenzie needs to come in here and talk with you guys about it, but that's completely up to you guys. I don't care what you do. I mean, it's her position. I think that you guys should talk with her about it. I can't speak for her. So if that's what you guys want to do, I would suggest someone just go speak with Mackenzie about it and see how she wants to proceed.
So should we just let this motion die and then have her come talk to us?
Yeah, that works. She's here today. I can see if she
Okay.
wants to come and speak with you guys too.
Sure. Because we ran into that in the
Yeah,
past.
I know.
We don't want to set
Just-
ourselves up for that again.
I agree, but I'm just trying, my opinion is
Yeah.
that if she wants the job, even keep it in house is probably the best
Keep
for
it
all
in
of
house
us.
and we'll just lower Jamie's
Correct.
budget
That
because
just-
she's
yeah.
not working more hours.
I'm just, yeah.
Well, he's working less.
She's not working more hours during the day, taking on this responsibility. So you don't, so if she's doing DES stuff and not state's attorney stuff, we will lower the state's attorney budget and then include the DES to compensate for the difference. So she works the same amount of hours for the pay she's hired at.
So then she would lose that extra pay that she's currently getting right now. And it
I
would
don't know if
just
that's
be,
fair. As long as it's in the budget, but
Well, I would suggest that she not lose the salary that she's getting right now, because that was what she's still doing those same duties that she was hired with for that salary. Whether she gets my pay or not, I guess that's up to you guys, but I would suggest that she at least not lose the salary that she's getting, take on more responsibility and get less money.
So the extra $300 a month, but she's not working more hours.
But she's got more responsibility, so I get where Jamie's coming from.
I see that. I do see that. I clearly do see that. But I don't want to get in the trouble where, is it fair for that office to get the extra $300 when she's not working more hours? Where we have offices that combine duties and they don't get more, they just,
Well, but this is.
Take on the more
this is a
duties.
Separate deal. So I don't know that.
But she already is, she has been, that was part of her compensation when she started, the salary that she's making right now. Whether or not you give her the salary from the rest of it, that's up to the discussion that you guys have, I guess, but I don't think her salary should decrease. Is what I'm saying.
It's my opinion, if that's the money that, if that's the amount of money she's making now, right now for her duties, I don't know. That's maybe something. we
so then
oughta-
you'd have to, what we would do would have to hire her hourly pay
She's already,
to make up for, because you're putting in the flat 300, aren't you? How are you doing it right now?
Taking that budget, divided it by the 12 or the 24, that's what she gets per
Right.
pay period.
I'm just pointing out, I'm being devil's advocate on this and pointing out so we see all,
Well, we just
all
got done,
sections around
we just got
this.
done with the discussion where Sam is making an extra $6,200 for being weed officer, and that never came up during that. So I guess if this is gonna come up during the emergency management discussion, I'm gonna say it's a bunch of crap, because we just had this discussion. Sam's the auditor. She's getting an
Yep.
extra $6,200 to be the weed officer, but no, the person that's working over there can't get the extra money. So I mean, I'm gonna argue that, and I have no
Yep.
stake in the game because I'm giving up my salary.
right?
So they have
And
to be
also
treated
to-
similarly.
And also just to kind of make a point or whatever with the DES, once they do up that report, they would get 50% of the
It's
salary and
50 or
benefits.
something. So yeah, I
It would
mean,
save the county. Yes. I also feel the same about the weed officer position too. My question on that is, you, again, not working more hours, but receiving $500 more a month.
so one of the things I'll say for
So-
Mackenzie, she'll be traveling, she'll be going to training that's required of the emergency manager. She'll be having to go to Bismarck.
Mhm.
So she might not be in the office more hours, but I shouldn't say probably, she will be required to travel, and do stuff outside of the office and probably be doing some stuff at night. So it probably is going to be more hours, not a pile, but it's not a pile of compensation for those extra hours either. So I do think that and she's on call, the emergency manager, if there's a fire, it does turn on to an on-call position.
Okay.
So like when that fire happened in Hannaford the other night, I was getting messages and phone calls from the state, watch command. And we get, when there's an emergency that happens in the county, there has to be someone that is available, for watch command. So it's not as if it's a job where you're not accountable. If something happens on a Saturday night where emergency management is needed, you have to be there.
Good.
So really for the extra money that we're getting and having to be available isn't really that much.
I don't think that's extra money. And I don't like seeing employees being treated that way either. I think as a member of the commission, I think we ought to treat our employees as well as, and not just worry about, well, you didn't work this hour, you didn't work that hour, or whatever. I think we owe the employees in order to treat them decent.
Okay. Other thoughts?
Feel the same way.
I'm just being devil's advocate on
Well,
this,
I
so
know,
that we
but I
have
know
all
I-
discussion, all sides on this are discussed. If we can leave it in-house, just know that,
If we don't leave it in house, then we gotta hire somebody else and we'd end up paying them a lot more. So, to have somebody that's willing to do it, I think we gotta
Well,
It's-
and to Lauren, to what Lauren had to say, I couldn't, I mean, with the stuff I have going on, I couldn't travel to everything that, I mean, there's a monthly meeting. I think it's by, you can participate by Zoom now, but there's a monthly regional meeting. I mean, there's the emergency manager out of Nelson County is gone, I don't know, I would say a couple days a week, maybe, doing stuff. If there's travel that's available, I mean, not to travel for fun, but there is a certain extent that the emergency manager is required to go do stuff. And it takes time away from home, and I think there should be some compensation for that.
And it sucks traveling for work, trust me, I know. I did it for 10 years. It sucks living on a suitcase, so.
Okay, any other discussion?
So what do you, I guess what are you gonna have to do with, there's a motion, there's, we have two motions, of course, now,
No, only one.
We have only one motion.
No, I second it, or
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah, it's been.
Yeah, I'm not saying it, but so we have to figure out how you wanna, do we just don't give the extra money or just go as is? That's the question, correct?
Do you leave her pay the same
Yeah, that's what
with
we're
the
at.
additional 300?
Or do we take it off Jamie's, right? Or you know what I'm saying, but make any sense? Yeah,
Take it out of it, take it off of Jamie's budget, is what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
And keep her paid the same, right?
Cause she.
Well, I'll make a motion to amend the motion
Okay,
to leave the pay the same as it is now.
okay. Let me get a
I'll second it.
second on that. Any discussion on that? Any discussion? And her pay is $300 a month. Any discussion?
And then, so leave leave the budget and the pay the same as where we're at then, so then,
Yes,
Would she?
Okay.
Jamie's
Nope,
part?
No.
the 300 that she's currently making.
Just keep it,
yeah.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
she travels and yeah.
Okay. Rod. Oh, I make roll call. We'll do roll call. Rod, Scott,
I,
Josh,
Alright,
Lauren,
I,
Stephanie votes aye. Motion carried. That'll be good. Okay.
thank you.
So we'll transfer over the DES position is now to her. We'll let her visit with
Jamie,
Mr. Is it Lees?
Yep.
We'll have her visit with Mr. Lees to get organized to fill out the grant that's due by October to be able to bring funds into that department. Fantastic. Okay, moving on to, thank you guys for that.
I think, I guess one more comment that I have, I think once the county's back in compliance and she's received some of her training and has gotten back into the grant position, I think that her salary should be revisited.
had a recommendation or do we need to vote?
No,
That's just a
No,
recommendation from me.
Sounds good.
One other DES matter is the burn ban.
yes.
After that fire in Hannaford for the second time, contacted Stephanie about putting a burn ban on. So we enacted a burn ban. Stephanie enacted a burn ban upon my recommendation. That's good. The chair of the commission can unilaterally enact a burn ban for 7 days before the commission approves of it. So I didn't figure there was any use calling a meeting last week since we have a meeting today and we were gonna get rain on Sunday. So I actually think you guys probably, I spoke with Matt Flat yesterday. I think the fire department would be fine with canceling the burn ban for the fire departments because of the moisture that we have now.
yeah, it's wet out there.
So I think that's what you guys should do is cancel it. For the future, and this is something that I can help Mackenzie with. We could enact a burn ban. Or not a burn ban, but burn restrictions So that if we have red flag warnings or very high fire risk, we could do something like that. I guess personally, I have a hard time with burn bans until there's a bunch of fires. And the reason being is because most people are responsible to put fires to take care of fires. No one wants to see something start on fire and take off. It's embarrassing to have to call the fire department. So I guess I don't know. I guess what do you think, Amber? Not do anything until we have fire risk again, or do you think we should do it? I mean, common sense. Most people use common sense and don't burn when there's red fire.
As a volunteer firefighter, can I say something on that?
Yeah.
So as a volunteer firefighter,
Yeah.
when I seen that ban, I was extremely thankful. Now what I think we should maybe do, and I could talk to the chiefs and everything else, but we could maybe adapt something like what the state has, because the state they were in a red flag
Red
warning.
flag, yeah.
Correct.
So maybe we could go off what the state says, and if we have more issues ourselves, enact a ban.
Well, and typically, I mean, people don't burn on red flag warnings, and I mean, we could have, like I said, burn restrictions. So if it's a very high fire risk or red flag, we could always have that as a restriction. There's a lot of counties that's what they do. And if things get even worse, then you can just enact a burn ban. But at least at all times, if it's very high or red flag, there's no burning that can be done.
Is there a lot of complaints when there's a burn ban? Like, oh, I can't burn it.
Yeah, actually, I got a couple phone calls.
I don't know.
I would have liked to have burned yesterday morning, but there was a burn ban and I knew it wasn't going to go anyplace. And I also knew that there was rain. So, we haven't enacted the burn bans like we did up in Nelson County, and Nelson County was an absolute disaster. Because people would burn and not know that there was a burn ban, and there's a lot more burning going on up in there because there's a lot more potholes. But it seemed any time a burn ban was enacted, it was an absolute disaster for me as state's attorney, because people would start a fire and they'd have a 2-acre slough, and there'd be 50 acres around that 2-acre slough that were worked up in black, and it wasn't going to go anyplace, and they still got citations, and the sheriff's department had black eyes from it. It has been an absolute mess. I have had emails calling me a Nazi, and the king of Nelson County because of enforcing burn ban citations. I should have printed those out and kept them because some of them were quite funny, but and there's more fire. There were way more fires up there that got away. But yeah, I don't know and the problem with burn bans, it's tough to advertise them because how do we do it other than putting it out on Facebook, maybe trying the radio, but there is not really any time to put it in the paper other than put it on social media. So that's one of the things. It's really tough to enforce burn bans when people that are 60, 70, 80 years old don't have social media. So also it makes it really difficult to get people the knowledge. So it could go on the signboard in Cooperstown, but someone that's out on the western edge of Griggs County probably isn't going to be reading that signboard in Cooperstown. They're probably not going to be on Facebook. So I don't know the proper way to advertise it to inform people. I mean, for the most part, a person needs to use common sense and you don't get in trouble. But burn bans are difficult and it really upsets people. But it's the biggest thing is trying to get people informed that it's there, because you often don't see it.
Well, I know. If I wouldn't have looked at Facebook that morning, I'd have pushed that pile up there and burnt it.
Well,
and Amber would have come out and find me.
And that's the problem. I mean, I was out in the field yesterday morning and there was fire. Wasn't that far from me. I don't think it was in Foster County. I'm pretty sure it was in Griggs County. But I mean, how are you going to think to know to look in the Griggs County Facebook page or the emergency management page or sheriff's department page? I mean, that's where it went out to. And typically I have a pretty good method of prosecuting people. We do what's called a deferred prosecution agreement, so they really don't have a guilty conviction on the record, and I have them, instead of pleading guilty and being fined, I have them donate to the fire department that responded, if there was a fire department that responded, or just donate to the fire department. That typically, everybody's happy that way. But the burn bans they're tough to notify everybody. That's one of the reasons I'm really hesitant to do it, because what do you do? I mean, not everybody has Facebook.
Mhm. So our thoughts are starting to burn restrictions? Is that? what we
Well,
wanna
I mean, it's
suggest,
something,
or
and I can
no?
I can
Yes?
help Mackenzie through it, but it's something that you guys, that we can probably consider. We probably won't need to worry about it in all this spring again, because we're gonna have,
Right.
we got moisture and stuff's gonna green up with the temperatures next week, or this coming week, the end of the week, so.
Sure.
Probably not gonna be something that we need to address unless we don't have any more moisture.
Okay, so we'll address that later. Thank you, Jamie, for calling me on this. That was great.
Half the problem I see is people are burning when it's windy. That's what I see. People are burning, and even if they don't try to, something catches. I've seen ashes fly over a mile and catch stuff on fire. It happens.
Yep.
So I just, if we don't have a ban, or even if we have restrictions, the only thing we can ask, even from fire departments, please use common sense. And if you're not sure, get a hold of either the state's attorney or the emergency management or your local fire chief and ask them, hey, am I good to burn? What's going on?
So I'll tell you a story about myself from last week. Sunday, we burned a shelter belt right in front of my parents' farm, and it burned off awesome. Until I started looking at the forecast for the wind that following Monday and Tuesday. So I was out in my pajamas with a semi and a water trailer putting fires out at 2:30 in the morning on Monday morning, because I didn't want the fire to get away. So, I mean, it's still, I guess I'm glad that I did it, and I'm glad it didn't get away, but you can take
Do we have a picture of
precautions
that?
to not start any fires.
I wish I had pictures of that.
That is what it says.
Right out there.
Yeah, that's a tough subject there.
Okay, so do I right now need a motion to end the burn ban?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll make that motion.
Scott made a motion to end the burn ban. Can I get a second?
I second.
Lauren
I'll s-
seconds. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any other discussion? Bar none. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Fantastic. Don't go anywhere. I want to throw you in the tax director position one. Road mileage certification.
Do you want to talk to Amber or not?
Oh,
Oh, yeah, Amber.
Do you have
you have
anything for
anything
us?
to
I
talk to
don't, unless you guys have questions.
No, I don't have any. Anybody got anything for Amber?
and go, okay.
We appreciate all you do.
We're at 10.
Fantastic.
Okay.
I want to see it 11.
We're up at 10.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to the road mileage certification. What is,
This is just, you guys do this every year. But we just need your signature steps, so. it's gotta
Okay.
come to you guys.
do we need a motion to sign this?
Yeah.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the county township road mileage certification?
I'll make that motion.
Or somebody
Motion by
does.
Josh, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Third.
Second by Rod.
Third.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion, bar none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I shall sign that for you. We're moving on to the tax director position. We received a application for the tax director position. And I don't know how we want to approach, when we did the building manager, we had two commissioners and Sam sit on the interviews. Would you guys prefer to do that again with this position?
So is Linda, is gonna resign? What's the story with Linda Morris?
Linda has a contract with us and her
Correct.
goal is to not keep her
Correct,
forever. Her
correct. I
goal
know
is
that.
to-
I understand that, yes.
When somebody
Okay,
wants it, she'll
okay,
train them
okay.
and
That's my question.
hand them on. And
Okay.
just know that when we do hire, so, I mean, when somebody does get hired, that my thoughts are to keep her on to train them. Otherwise, you just have you're just putting somebody in a position that has no idea what they're doing.
Correct.
And so that expense will be there. because somebody applied does not mean we are guaranteed to have to hire them. If we don't feel this would be a good fit, then we can always say, thank you for your application,
Sure.
you know, and
So who's gonna do the interview? Is that what you're
That's-
asking? about?
yes.
So I'm guessing you want me up here to talk about open records and open meetings.
Yes, because we
So-
did it with Chad.
Right, so anytime a committee is appointed and two people are, if it's a formal appointment or informal appointment by the commission, so say we have a meeting and two people say, I'll do the interview, okay, you guys go do the interview. That's a committee, it's still subject to open meetings, so it's still subject to having Sam take minutes and having people come in here. So I've never been a part of a meeting, an interview that has been closed. So regardless of the whole commission interviews a person, or if it's just a committee, it's still subject to open meetings.
Okay. And we did that with Chad. We did two people and Sam. And we did minutes and everything, I believe. Did we? I'm not sure, but.
Since we've always been worried about money, if we.
I don't know if we did minutes because I remember getting a phone call on that saying, do you want to be part of the interviews with Chad? And I said that would be 3, so that'd be a meeting and we'd have to record that.
Oh, yes, yes. So now, how do we do that?
Do we just start doing it from now on or what?
Well, yeah, I mean, and I guess when minutes aren't taken, if you can recall them the best of your recollection, then they should probably be taken down yet.
Okay.
But yeah, anytime there's a committee is subject to open meetings. So to be 100% honest with you, commissioner of the whole or committee, it really doesn't make any difference because it's still subject to everybody watching and everybody being at the interview. So I guess it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. That person's going to have to come and answer to the commission at some point so you can see how they react to the entire room. If during an interview, if they can't handle speaking to 5 commissioners, I guess they probably wouldn't be able to do it in the future either.
So what you're saying is either do the first thing or do the whole front of the whole commission.
Yeah, you can do it one of two ways. You can
Yeah.
do it regardless, both of them.
They're subject to open
Subject to
meetings.
They
open
both are.
meetings.
They both are.
You
Correct.
would take minutes on both of them. It's just,
I think we should do it during the commission because
do we do it during a commissioner meeting?
we do, and then it's recorded and everything else already during the commissioner meeting. A lot more are present. It makes it easier because we have a set schedule with the meeting. And that way that person come
Okay.
sit, like he said, sit in front of the commission and we can all ask them questions that we have.
I would have a standardized
We're gonna
set
have
of
to have-
questions that I would ask.
Okay.
Yep.
Then just go around the room and every person asks the questions. I guess that's what I've seen in the past, but
Yep.
yeah, I think that's how I interviewed, I guess, up in Nelson County.
Is
I
there,
think that's how I interviewed here as well.
Do you guys want to do it during a regular meeting or do you guys want to do it as a separate meeting?
we could maybe do it separate, like a half an
Have a
hour
special
before the
meeting?
meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Half
then
an hour
otherwise it
before.
gets so dragged out. so
Okay.
much, You know,
Do we have to have advertising or just take one?
we already have been
Huh?
Already been out.
It's the job's been
Oh,
advertised.
that's all done?
for a long time,
And we only
actually.
got- We only got one application, is that?
It's been a rolling, 5-year advertisement probably?
Well, no,
much,
I
yeah.
just,
So,
yeah,
it's kinda
okay,
endless.
that's fine.
So my question on you for the
Satisfied.
questions, is there just like a basic form that we print out that you like legality or how do we answer that?
Well, I mean, you can't ask the discriminatory questions.
Yeah.
Stephanie knows probably the best, which, I mean, as far as commissioners,
Yes, you have more things.
can't ask age, family,
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that-
marital status, race, those kind of questions that would,
Yep.
that if you decide not to hire someone that could potentially be looked at as discriminatory.
I tell you, the extension office had
I heard that.
the there was a beautiful interview process that they used with the questionnaires and everything. It was lengthy, so I would sum it up shorter, but I would gear it more towards, this position in itself and the responsibilities and such, but
Yeah, and
we could
that,
come up with a list of questions for that.
that way, so we have it across the board for.
I think
a
working
lot
with
of-
Linda for that would probably be the best.
Oh, yes,
Questions to ask.
I would like Linda to be maybe since
Yes.
to be there and I could visit with her to
Sounds good.
get a list of questions.
Mhm. Cause like I said, the reason why I was asking Jamie, I just want to make sure we ask the right ones and we don't get ourselves into a bind or
Yep.
anything like that.
Okay.
I will we'll have, do we have a special? You know what? I'll coordinate, and I'll get dates and I'll get back to you guys to figure out dates.
Sounds good.
Okay, great, fantastic. Any updates on the Garrison? Anything?
No, I've nothing.
Are they
Okay,
started?
They got signs, they do have signs up throughout the county. Newman Signs put, I think it was, or Dakota Signs, put up a pile of signs. They have Hall Road signs and no pipeline traffic signs. So,
Oh,
For moisture control?
They haven't, oh, he did the other night, last night.
yeah.
so they must, I think the start date, and speaking with them, I thought was May 15th. So I would,
Sure, they're waiting for the roads to firm up.
yeah, the roads, the trucks have gotten tough on a few of the roads.
if you're haul,
We still have those limits, yeah, because they're terrible. Hopefully after this rain, they'll get firmed up some.
Okay, let's move on to election update. Sam.
Just wanted to make a public announcement, that Binford City Council candidates, did file their petitions with my office, and their names were missed to put it onto the ballot, so that, that race doesn't have any candidates running, and it is they need to be running as write-ins right now. That is not on any of the candidates' fault, that is on me. And so I am going to be switching how we kind of organize all of that stuff, and have the cities be reviewing my ballots and signing off on those. So
is there any way we can,
there's no way that I can fix it.
okay,
I called the Secretary of State's office. I begged them, please let me do new ballots, do something. And
I just don't want
unfortunately,
anybody to feel excluded, that's why.
So what, I'm the city attorney for Binford too. So in speaking with the Secretary of State's office and with the League of Cities attorney, we decided to announce the candidates on their Facebook page.
Oh,
They typically you can't endorse a candidate. So all they did was announce them, said they had their paperwork filed and that they're eligible to be elected. So that's really all that can be done to fix it, and they'll just have to be write-in candidates.
thank you.
Same thing, anybody else that's going against us commissioners, right? They
would
can,
be
but
write-ins, yeah.
all-
But these people had their paperwork done.
Oh.
It should have been on the ballot, but
Thank you. Next, old courthouse, new courthouse. Before I have Chad, I received a letter from Lorna at the State Historical Society. We have now completed 3 of the 5 steps to be able to get approval if somebody would like to take the courthouse down. The next 2 steps, number 4, is they want a list of architectural materials or elements that we would salvage. And I did have a list already, so I sent that to her to see if that was a good enough list that came from, that we got earlier. And then the step 5 would be the sign. You know, if we had a sign, how we would. put the
like a
sign
plaque or something like that.
in this place.
that's right.
Yes. So that's, we ever getting the steps done. Will we ever have enough money to do something with the courthouse? I have no idea, but we have the steps.
You know, at some point there could be some state grant money available. Right now, there is some hazardous material cleanup or remediation money that was available, not just through the State Historical Society, but the legislator did make some money available, but I think that money's all gone. But as old buildings continue to be foreclosed on for taxes or whatever in small towns, there probably is going to be some more money available, I would guess, if the state has money.
Oh, good.
Whether we get the 800 to $1 million, it's probably going to cost to tear it down. I don't know.
And get us on the right path though, to getting something figured out.
Right. Right. And now Chad, do you have anything for the old?
Well, that's what I was gonna bring up. I talked to Brian, because he's gonna take down them split units, you know, Ryan Hansen.
Oh,
So he's gonna come in, but we gotta get power on so he can run and make sure they're working, otherwise it doesn't waste, but. He's gonna get back to me on getting them, I'll take them all out at one time and you can decide what you're gonna do with them, but my question is we gotta stuff, I suppose there's, I don't know what's all in there, but there's stuff in there that needs to come out. Whether they're gonna keep it, whether there's records, whatever, they're gonna sell it. But it should have been done sooner than later because it's not getting any nicer in there. And who's gonna be the one to go in and, you know, it's not gonna be very good for your health going in there.
Especially the
And
basement.
where's it gonna go?
And where's it gonna go?
Basement.
And what are we gonna do with it? But it, I mean, there's like 150 chairs in the court.
In the courtroom, correct. I know.
But the state attorney's office and the sheriff's office, we have records in there and some of those are required to keep for up to 50 years. The only problem with it is we don't have any place to put them because we really don't want to put them in this building, I don't think. But we need some place safe for them. So I've put it off, not knowing what to do with them. And one, there's not really any space in this building for it. And two, I don't think that we want to bring those records into this building anyway. So,
All mold.
For health reasons.
yeah.
Correct.
Have to have it.
So I don't know what we
How
want
do
to do
you
with that.
properly dispose of something like that or can't you?
Well, some of them we're required by law to keep for up to 50 years.
Okay.
Could we rent like a store unit?
Possibly. I mean, that would work. They have to be under lock and key because some of that stuff's confidential. And
Yeah.
but I mean, that's what law firms do. They just rent a storage unit and throw their stuff in.
Unit or even get one of those, I depends on the room and where we put it. We can get a shipping container, put some of that stuff in there.
Or yeah, maybe a shipping container down at the county shop. What do you think about that, Wayne?
We need something that's most.
Put on.
Put it way
Wade's
back. and-
desk. Put on
Well, I
Wade's
mean,
desk.
that would possibly work to put it down in the county shop lot.
Well, can you get like
Yeah.
a van body that's a 100% mouse proof, something that's tight, if you can put them in. 'Cause you don't want mice to get into it, so you're gonna have to have something that's mouse proof.
Those 40-foot connexes, those are most proof.
Yeah.
So to get a 40-foot shipping container.
Yeah, and just
And
put
they got,
some-
they got great resell too, if you want to get rid of them.
How spendy are those, Rod? Any ideas?
$7,000 41 tripper.
Yep.
You got some research, huh?
See, you already know.
So Amy and I have two houses that we're cleaning out right now, and I already have stuff in them that we've purchased for our house in Sutton, so I have to have one. So I'm going to buy one.
Well, we gotta do something because one, they're getting worse. Two, we have to get them out of there and protect them.
Mhm.
And three, if we're gonna salvage some of this and maybe whether the public buys it, historical society or whatever else, we gotta do something.
But, for instance, like them chairs. Are we gonna have to go and clean them before you put them in the storage unit, or they're just gonna keep?
Would we keep the chairs or would we dispose of?
No, we need to give them away or sell them or something. I wouldn't pay money to keep them.
But do we need to clean them before you can give them away?
No.
Not
Gotta
if we-
get rid of
Well, we can't give them away because that's,
There probably is some value to those chairs because they're antique chairs.
Yeah.
And they're 100 years old.
I mean, there's, from what I've seen, and there's a lot of stuff in there that's, some of it should go to the museum, I think. Or whatever, old doors and fire stuff like, so that's gotta be taken out. Who's gonna be the one to take all this out? Who's gonna be the one to move everything?
They point you back, just so you know.
No, I'm only allowed 37 and a half hours. You move it up to 90-hour weeks.
That
And I
is a
will.
real question though. I mean, that's.
That's a very
how generous are you feeling?
question as to.
Overtime.
Files and,
Yeah.
which Chad didn't put there, we didn't put there.
Oh, I did.
Should have been taken out.
I just wanted to bring it to your attention, so something should be done sooner than later.
Yeah, I think Chad's
You're right.
right. Yeah, I never had an office in that building.
Is there any place for funding for a container?
Under building, there might be. I haven't looked at the budget. I haven't seen a budget report for a while to see where our balances are.
But maybe it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Well, we do have our
Yep.
maintenance grant if we have to use that, if we can legally, or,
Is it worth-
we do have emergency funds, which that should be a last resort. Maybe some of that grant money that we
That
got
might
left
be.
over, we could use that.
Well, I don't know.
Is that a legality, Jamie, if we use grant money for something like that, or?
No idea.
Scott, would you, since you're on the Historical Society, would you want to grab somebody there and see what you guys would like to keep,
Yeah, we can do that.
you know, and
Yeah, go through
then
it.
we could donate to Historical Society, because
Yeah.
that's to donate, we can do that.
We can donate, right?
No.
Or not? We can-
Well, if
Another,
there's
another.
no.
If the value is under so much,
Yeah,
right?
if it's under $100, I think, or
So I
around
think-
$1,000 or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, if there's no value to it, yeah, it can be given away or thrown or donated, but
Is that
it's-
the same if it's county to, like, that's a county museum? Is that
Yeah, I was gonna say
like,
that. It's
I feel like
the
that's
system. It's still,
the
still
same?
another, it's a government, it's a different government sub.
I know.
So I mean, it's fine until it's not. And
That's your favorite line, isn't it?
someone sues the county.
Is it
So-
something maybe we could advertise, come get these, make an offer. If nobody takes them,
no
then,
donation.
yeah, if they don't want
guess-
to.
But are you gonna want some public people going in there to take the stuff out when it's
That's-
hazardous?
Well,
If there's mold.
I guess what
are we
the
liable
county
for
could
that?
do is not necessarily give it to the Historical Society, but put it on display as
Oh,
a county material and never give it to them, but allow it to be a permanent display. I mean, there's a way to figure
workarounds.
there's a way to figure that out, but yeah, if there's value to things above a nominal value, it has to go up for bids. But like I said, with that said, I think that if the county wants to have a display at the museum and just say it's being on loan from the county, I don't see a problem with that.
Now, some of them jail doors and stuff are pretty cool. Can we take them without asking you guys if we just leave them here on a display? Like, we want a jail door, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Is
I-
that
You-
okay to
It's
do?
not
You can't
leaving
put
the
it at the
premises.
Michaelis estate, but you can put it in the
No,
courthouse,
here.
yeah.
Like in our office, like.
You walk indoors and you jail them?
it could be.
Just pull the whole thing out and rebuild it in here and you got a place to keep some when they get rowdy.
But no, cause some of that stuff is really,
Pretty
really.
cool
It's
stuff.
pretty stuff.
Looks
I
pretty
agree.
neat.
Yeah. And those chairs up in the courthouse are pretty cool too.
Yeah, I mean,
They're pretty-
some are wired together and bolted together,
Yeah, they
but
are,
there's
but-
still chairs are in good shape and it's 100 years of the county history.
It is.
It'd be cool to have one.
Well, and then our showroom, I'm sure there's stuff along the walls. I mean, I don't want to clog up the walls, but at the same time, there's places when they're walking through the halls that I know people would like to see stuff on display.
Mhm.
They would really appreciate stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying we gotta,
Said we need a subcommittee. Steph runs it.
Subcommittees and Stephanie in the same sentence, that's kind of scary.
But Chad, I guess probably to get us back on track, Chad is not wrong that we probably should act sooner than later on some of this stuff because it probably.
Absolutely.
I haven't been in there in years. I really don't want to go in there.
Because you know.
And we can't just have anybody going in there.
I
That's a
agree.
huge liability.
I agree in that sound, yeah.
well, I was
There's
in there
been
the
a lot
one
of
day to
people
get
that
them
have wanted to
power.
go in
and I
there
was in
just
the
for
basement.
a
and-
tour and stuff like that, and we can't be letting
Yeah.
people do that.
Okay. Should we bring this up in the next meeting to come with the game plan?
Yep.
We can tally up something to bring back.
Is that something you're willing, I mean, to see what we have for files, everything else, and I mean, I know you don't have.
I don't know what
Yeah.
this department wants to keep, what you think we should keep. I mean, that's what.
I-
This person that.
I think it's more
I
the,
have no idea.
the more important stuff, like we got all those files we have to keep, stuff like that.
But I
Some of
think,
the,
You'd be cool. Could you walk in there and take pictures of items? Be like, here's an item of interest, here's an item of interest, items that you. And then we can discuss items of interest.
I think ultimately it's all gonna have to come out anyway at some point.
Yeah,
So like the files from the sheriff's office, files from the state's attorney's office. I think they just all come out.
where we gonna put it though? Can't just
Well, I
sit
mean,
outside.
right,
We'll have to get a
right. That's gonna have to get a
container.
container.
The head of every department report back to Chad, just so you can keep a tally
So
and we
like,
say, I
you
need
got
this.
this much,
Jamie
we
needs
need this out.
yeah,
'Cause I know like Kelly,
then we
said
can-
hers is gone, just
I think,
Sam
Forty.
needs this and.
yep.
anything you
But
in there,
Chad,
Wayne?
he doesn't
Nope.
know what we.
No.
Rain is over
I
there
might think
yawning.
something's garbage and you might like, no, that has to go.
Well, some of the stuff that's older than 50 years, those files, we can legally shred and dispose of them.
Well, and typically there's not like a sex offense file or a murder file, they need to be kept for 50 years. I think a murder file permanently, but most of those files probably can be shredded. But they're gonna have to come out because we're not gonna sit in the basement and go through every
No.
box.
to go through everyone.
So
But isn't there dates on them, on the boxes, a lot of boxes?
right, but it doesn't have the file name on the outside of every box. They're held in individual files. So
Okay.
the files just have to come out, and we're just gonna have to go through each box one by one.
Do you have to do that, or can we just store them?
No,
Well, they could be stored.
stored, you're stored
Yeah.
somewhere.
But if they're
Put
completely,
it on the next
so-
person in 100 years.
Well, I mean, I think it's just something that we'll have to work on, pull them out of there and just work on gradually. I also don't want to have files for 40 years because those are subject to open records, and not that I don't want to be transparent, but I don't want to have to go back and try to find a 40-year-old file to say, hey, here's the copy of it.
Mhm.
some of that, if it's damaged beyond belief or like completely covered in mold, are we legally allowed to dispose of it then?
No,
If it's damaged or
Damaged.
beyond?
no.
If so, it still is gonna have to go through a whole process
Okay.
of why and this, and Jamie looking at me and that, you know,
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to save a little time on your guys' end is all it is.
not like cleaning out our garage where you can
No.
just dump.
Don't even look.
No, it's gonna require some time.
Okay. I could just feel the damp and smell the mold on those files. I feel sorry for anybody who has to go through them. Take your allergy meds,
Mask,
Yeah.
gloves.
masks,
Hunter.
gloves.
Hunter's disease or whatever it's called, hunter virus.
Yeah. Anything else new or courthouse, old courthouse? All right, future business?
Let's put the new county agent on next time. She started, right? Or starting? Or-
Yep, she's been here a few days.
Okay, have her meet the commission next time.
Okay.
Okay.
New county agent, introduction.
Yep.
And then should we do this interview next?
What, we thought it'd be a special one.
We'll have our own special meeting
Special
for
for
that.
But I mean,
That's-
should we do it before our meeting next time?
Yes, I agree, I think so. So yes, it should be on the next agenda so we can discuss.
Yeah. Have the special meeting and a half an hour before, so at 9 o'clock with this person, do the interview and then put it on the agenda for that. Is there something we can do about that, or is that kind of conflicting?
I don't know if you need to call a specific special meeting. You just make sure that you do it if you do it right at 9:30 or 9:45 or 10 o'clock, just make sure that you do the interview right at that time. So
Okay.
if you guys don't
Oh.
want to come until 9:30 and do it, just say you're gonna do it at 10 o'clock and that's when you do the meeting.
Okay.
Come in at,
That's fine.
Just do it in 2 weeks at the next, or you guys want to do it before then?
No,
No.
I want to do it at the next meeting.
Next meeting's fine. Yeah.
Next meeting works for me, and you want it at 9? Right at
We could
9:30
do
or-
them right away. We could maybe do the interview right away, just so it's done. She shows up, she can get here, do her thing.
And then she
We
leave.
could do it and then she can gradually go on her way after that.
So that would mean our,
Is that executive?
nope, that's an open meeting.
it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure.
But like
I
they
was
s-
thinking that before, that's, yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of pressure, but
Well, it is,
like
but-
Keith said, they're gonna have to answer the committee regardless.
Right.
So you're
Right.
either gonna go in front of a 2-person committee with probably 1 or 2 other people there and have an open meeting, or you're gonna have an open meeting here. They're both subject to open meetings, so there isn't really a whole lot of difference between them, in my opinion.
Well, at
Mhm.
least with all 5 of us here, then we can all see what who we,
Mhm.
talk to her,
Right.
whoever it is.
And have.
And Linda.
Yeah.
And
have
Linda, yeah,
And
Linda's gotta be
Linda.
here. She's gotta be here. Yeah.
So,
Okay,
Linda attend.
okay.
Okay, anything else? All right, I'm looking
Well,
for
that'd be me, of course.
Do it, but did that,
motion from Scott to adjourn, second from Rod. Any discussion? Are none? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Fine. All right.
Out of here.
It is 11:43. Our next meeting will be June 8th at 9:30